this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make the Sunburst granny square. This is actually a remake of an older video that I have. I thought it was about time for a revamp, and I've also made a few changes to the pattern itself. I am using Karen Simply Soft in 4 different colours today, but you can obviously choose whichever colours you want for this pattern. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook with this yarn, but you can use whichever hook size suits the yarn that you've selected. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle for sewing in your ends. I will leave a link to the blog post in the description box below. Simply click that show more button or the downward arrow if you're on a mobile device, and you'll find all of the information there, including the yarn information and also the free written pattern, as well as a pinnable image so you can pin this to your Pinterest board for later. As always, I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up if you like it, leave me a comment, subscribe and click that bell button to be kept up to date with all of my latest videos. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start by using colour A, and we're going to create a slip knot, and you can use whichever method you prefer. You can actually start off with a magic circle if you prefer, but I'm just going to do a slip knot for this particular version, and a chain to start off with. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then join into the third chain from the hook with a slip stitch, and this is going to create a circle. So we have our center circle just here, so that's where we're going to be working into. So for row 1, we're going to start off by chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3. This is going to count as our first treble crochet. I am talking in UK terms, so in the US this is known as a double crochet. And then what we're going to do is do 15 trebles into that center circle that we've just made. So it's yarn over, insert your hook into the center of the circle, yarn over and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that is your treble crochet. If you are unfamiliar with a treble crochet, I do have a dedicated video especially for that, so you might want to go ahead and check that out and then come back to this video if you need further help. So that's our first treble crochet, so 1 of 15. This is 2, 3 and 4. You want to pause the video, work those 15 treble crochets. I would work in your tail end, hold it down as you're working round just to secure it in a little bit, and then meet me back once you've done those 15 stitches. Okay, so once you've worked your 15 stitches, we then have our chain 3, which counted as a stitch at the beginning of this round. So we have 16 stitches in total. What we're going to do is join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. So just pull through and pull through, and then you're going to chain 1 and snip off that colour. And now we're ready to move on to round 2. So for round 2, we're going to be using colour B. So go ahead and grab that and then meet me back in a moment. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to take our colour B, and then I'm just going to join this on. Now, I tend to join mine before the finish of the last round so that I can carry my yarn through as I'm working. So, but you can actually join this in any stitch you like. I'm going to insert my hook into a stitch just before the last join, loop the yarn over, leaving a tail end, and then pull through. You can join with a knot if you prefer, it's totally up to you, but I'm just going to pull mine through like this. So for round 2, we're going to start off by chaining 1, and then we're going to do 1 puff stitch into each stitch all the way round. So this chain 1 is not going to count as any stitch, it's just to get us up to the height of a puff stitch. And now we're going to work that puff stitch. Just notice that I'm carrying these tail ends over to this side, the way that I'm working. so that I can crochet them in as I go along, and it just secures this first section just here. So for a puff stitch, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that same stitch that we've just connected to, yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to pull up a loop. So we want to pull this up so that we'll work into the height of the stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then pull up that loop again. And then once more, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through and pull up. You will have 7 loops on your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. At this point we want to yarn over, turn your hook to face all the way down, because if you're trying to pull through like this, it won't come through. So you want to have your hook facing all the way down, and then just pull through all 7 loops on the hook. And then we're going to chain 1 to secure that in place, and that is your first puff stitch. We're then going to move into the next stitch, and again I'm holding these tail ends down, and we're going to go yarn over, insert into the top of that next stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull up, and for the second time pull up, and then one more time pull up. So we have those 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn your hook down, pull through all 7 loops and chain 1 to secure. So I'll just go through that one more time with you, and then you can work your way all the way around. So holding these tail ends down and going into that next stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through and pull up. That's 1, 2 and 3 times, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops on the hook and chain 1 to secure. So go ahead, work those puff stitches all the way round. You will have 16 in total. This first one will look slightly bigger than the rest of them just because we have that chain 1 there, so don't worry about that. Work your way round and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so I've just worked my way all the way round. I have those 16 puff stitches. And then what we want to do here is slip stitch into this first puff stitch. So go into the top of the stitch and slip stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and tie off. So you can tie off that colour. You want to go ahead and grab your colour C, and then meet me back in a moment. Okay, so for round 3 we're going to take colour C, and then we're going to join in any of these chain 1 spaces, so in between the stitches. And again I'm going to yarn over and pull through, leaving a tail end. So I'm just going to loop that through. You can tie that on if you prefer. For round 3 we're going to chain 2. This does not count as a stitch. And then what we're going to do here is do a cluster of stitches. So in this case we're actually going to treble crochet 4 together. So I'll just show you how to do that. In the US that is known as double crochet 4 together. So we're going to yarn over, go into that same space, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So we're not going to finish off that treble. So that's 1, and then again yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2. We're not pulling up on our stitches this time like we did on the puff stitch, because it will make the stitches too long here. So just work as if you're doing a normal treble crochet. And then one more time, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And then once more, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've essentially made, ignoring this first chain 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles, and you'll have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops, and then we're going to go ahead and chain 1 to secure, and then chain another to move over. So we're going to do that again, yarn over, insert into the next chain space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and again, pull through 2, and again, pull through 2, and then the last time pull through 2. So that's 4 stitches made, 5 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all of those loops on the hook, chain 2, 1 and 2 to move over to the next stitch. So I'll just show you that one more time. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on the hook and chain 2. So go ahead, work that all the way round until you have done your last stitches, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so once you've worked your way all the way around, we're going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch into that first stitch and go ahead and tie off. So that is the end of our round 3. We're then going to go ahead and use colour D for our last round. So go ahead and grab that and I'll meet you back in a moment. Okay, so for round 4, again, we're going to take our yarn. I'm going to start off in the stitch just before where my tail end is. And again, I'm going to bring that yarn through with a loop. And then we're going to start off by chaining 4. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is counting as our first double treble. So in US terms, this is known as a treble crochet. And what we're actually going to do is start off by doing some stitches in this first space here. And then we're also going to do our last stitches in this same space just here. So we're also in this round taking our motif from being circular to square. So we're going to create some corners here, and this is our first corner. So what we want to do here is do 2 double trebles into this same chain 2 space. So that's yarn over twice, insert into that space, yarn over, pull through, you'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through those last 2. So because this chain 4 is counting as a double treble, we essentially have 2 here already, and then we want to make 1 more. So yarn over the hook twice, insert, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, pull through 2, 2 loops, and then pull through 2, and then we have our 3 stitches. We're going to chain 1. This moves us over to our next chain 2 space. And again, I'm laying these tail ends down. And then what we're going to do here is do 3 treble crochets into this next chain space. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So that's our first treble, our second, and our third. We're going to chain 1 and then move over onto the next chain space, and again do 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and again move over into the next chain space and do 3 trebles, 1, 2 and 3. So we have just made our first edge just here, and now we want to make another corner space. So the full corner space is worked like this. We'll do 3 double trebles, so yarn over twice, insert, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, that's 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to chain 2, 1 and 2, that's going to class as the corner, and then do another 3 double trebles into that very same stitch, or into that very same space, should I say. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to move over to the next chain space, and then do 3 trebles. So we're essentially making a side piece again here. Chain 1, and then we're going to repeat all the way round. So your pattern repeat here is 3 trebles, chain 1, 3 trebles, chain 1, 3 trebles, chain 1. Create the corner, which is 3 double trebles, chain 2, 3 double trebles. Create your side again, your corner and your side. Once you've done these last 3 trebles on this side, or blocks of 3 trebles on this side, meet me back and I'll show you how to finish off this last corner. Okay, so here's where you should be up to now. You have your side, your corner, side, corner, and then your last side, and then we meet ourselves back at the beginning. So I've just done my 3 trebles, I'll chain 1, and now we're going to work into this very last stitch, which I mentioned at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and do our 3 double trebles. That's 1 and 2, and then the 3rd. Chain 2 to make the corner, 1 and 2, and then simply slip stitch into the top of that chain 4 from the beginning of the round. Chain 1, snip off the yarn, and there we have our 4th and final round. So because I have worked in this yarn as I went along, I can actually snip this off from the first few rounds. The only one that I don't want to snip off at the moment is the centre one, because we just need to sew that in a bit more, just to make sure it's secure. I like to go back and forth. I've already worked it in one way, so if I go back and forth once more, that's been done 3 times, so it's nice and secure. And also sew in the end of the last round. You might also wish to block your square so that these corners are really nice and defined. And then also, if you have your other blocks, they will all be the same size for when it comes to connecting them all together. So this is the Sunburst granny square. I will leave a link in the description box to the blog post where you can find the written pattern for this, and also suggestions for how to connect these as well. So make sure that you go and check that out. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell button because you'll be notified of when my videos go live. Please make sure you also tag me at Coco Crochet on Instagram, because I absolutely love to see your makes. So especially tag me if you have made something with this project. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye.